You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
The wheel is turning and you can't slow down. You can't let go and you can't hold on. You can't go back and you can't stand still. If the thunder don't get you, then the lightning will.
Hello and welcome back to my Wheelhouse, our exciting basketball show where it's currently October 16th. NBA season starts tomorrow. I'm your host, Seamus. I'm joined by Uncle Mike. Mike, what's going on?
Going great. I do have to give you some credit. I watched Malik Monk.
Yes.
And he's a creative scorer
He's
beyond.
incredible.
I mean, that guy is shooting coming off the bus.
Yeah, I agree.
I was really. He's got something going.
With Batum out, he's got a shot too.
I'm on him now.
And Sloan, welcome back to the show. This is your third episode.
Thanks for having me. Yep, third time's a charm.
I agree. Sounds like a great time. So we got the regular season starting tomorrow with 2 games. I'm sure we're gonna do a couple new segments today after the wheel. We'll run down just some stuff about the upcoming games this week. Maybe a couple other things, maybe a mailbag. We'll touch on that depending on how much time we have. But we're doing basically a divisional preview today just to talk about where we think teams stack up against one another. Obviously, Celtics are their own segment on the wheel because we love the Celtics. And I don't think I have anything else. You want to tell me something good before we start? You want to just get to the wheel?
Yeah. You know, I just want to it kind of happened a couple of weeks ago, and you talked about a book you're reading that was talking about the greatest dunkers. Mm-hmm. Connie Hawkins died, and I don't know whether you guys know Connie Hawkins, but you know he's got quite a good story with him where he was just an absolute incredible superstar out of New York City that was committed to go to the University of Iowa, and then he was connected in some way to a gambling scheme of some kind and was actually blackballed from the NBA until he was 27 and played in the ABA. But to make it short, he is the lifeline in between. It's Elgin Baylor, Connie Hawkins, Dr. J, and Michael Jordan, as far as guys that swoop and score and do those things. And I don't know if anybody's come along since Michael Jordan.
You're going to throw David Thompson in that group too?
Dunk Rushmore?
I think David Thompson, I don't think he had the significance on the game that Elgin Baylor and Dr. J and Michael Jordan
He
did.
scored 73 in a game.
But I just don't identify with him the same way that I do with Dr. J and Michael Jordan.
That's true. He has much more of a negative aura around him.
And Connie Hawkins is one of those guys. So
people love and respect him. A lot of NBA players are giving him shout out, rest in peace type of memoirs, giving him quick paragraphs.
Always was good. Always was great.
Yeah,
he was great when he came into the NBA at 26. It was great every play.
A big what could have been if he came in early.
In terms of what he would have established as for numbers and everything. But he was just an amazingly creative dunker and swooper and one hand.
There's not a ton of highlights out there.
He was electric.
But yeah, definitely go YouTube search it.
So that's my good thing.
All right, let's get to the wheel.
All right, let's kick it off.
I've been spinning for a couple weeks. It's good to have another spinner back.
It's nice and loose.
We'll see.
I thought you did a real good job spinning last week.
Thank you. That
means
a lot.
It was a good spinning week.
All right, Pacific Division. Obviously, on top of the Pacific Division is the NBA champs, the Golden State Warriors. So for every division, we're just going to go through, we're going to rank them, and then we're just going to talk about a couple players, and wherever we have disagreements, we can elaborate. So I'll go first. I have the Warriors atop the division. I think that they're going to probably be the best team in the league, obviously. Then 2 through 5 are teams where you could probably say where maybe one of them will make the playoffs, and 3 are a very strong shot to not make it. So 2, I would presume both of you also have the LA Clippers at 2. 3, I have the Lakers. 4, I have the Kings. And 5, I have the Suns. Do you guys have any differences?
Yeah, not really any differences. I think there's such an imbalance out there between the good and the bad these days. And you know, to see the Warriors the way that they're positioned to dominate the league again, and then you look at the Kings and the Suns and the Lakers, and I like the Clippers starting lineup. I think if they're going to start Beverly and Rivers, is Gallinari ready to play?
Gallinari's ready to play, but it's actually rumored that Beverly might be not ready for the season opener.
Okay, and then with Blake and Jordan, I think that's a pretty good starting team.
Yep.
Other than that, I would go with the Lakers third too, because I just like their starting team, and even with its weaknesses. But the Kings and the Suns, they say Vince Carter's going to start.
Yeah, he might. A couple games, I think.
How old is he?
He's 40. Jaeger's
That's a real odd one.
I think they mostly want is leadership, probably, because they're just so young.
Yeah, but he can
you need
do that
a little
off the
bit
court.
of defense.
I appreciate what the Kings are trying to do. I mean, they have 9 of their, or like I think maybe more than that. It might be 10 of their 15 players are under 23 years old, and they're all projects, and they're all raw, and like they have players that might test out a little bit better in terms of how to project them moving forward, like De'Aaron Fox or Willie Cauley-Stein or Scalabrine. But yeah, exactly. They're bringing in, and then they brought in these 4 or 5 veterans. You can argue whether or not they're actually going to help motivate these young players, like Zach Randolph. I don't know who's the best mentor for these guys, but I like the strategy and I like the idea, and I think this team actually has like a cohesive strategy moving forward. It was something that you couldn't say when they had
refresh me in how they
Cousins.
picked the 8 teams. If you win your division, you automatically you would have to be one of the teams, right?
If you win the division, you're in the playoffs.
Right, and then it's the top 8 teams on each side, right? So
Just record-wise.
and you automatically get in, and there's no way you could win your division and not win one of the top 8 teams. That's
right. Well, so there's been situations before where someone would win their division and would end up being like an 8 seed and then would beat out.
Well, if you could be an 8 seed, you could actually, if it's possible to be an 8 seed, it's possible that mathematically it'd be possible not to.
Well, we'll touch on further. There's obviously, as you say, this is one of the divisions that has the biggest range from top to bottom in differences of
Do they
ability.
play more? They play the teams in the divisions more than the.
Yes, you play your teams in your division 4 times, and other teams in the conference. There are teams that you play in your conference 4 times as well, but the majority you're playing 3, and then the majority of the teams from the opposite conference you're only playing 2. So this division, this helps the Warriors.
Severe mismatches when you're watching the Warriors against some of those teams.
Warriors against the Suns will definitely not be a watchable game.
Too.
Right, that helps them. I mean, if you look at this list, I mean, they got 12 games against the Lakers, Kings, and Suns.
Yeah.
Like that's got to be at least 13 wins. They're going to win as many as they can out of those, as many as possible, because that's just automatic wins. And we're going to talk about other divisions moving forward, depending on what it lands on. But there's another division in the West that potentially all 5 teams could make the playoffs, which is pretty crazy.
True.
So players to watch, I put down Eric Bledsoe just because I think that he's one of the most likely players to be on the trade market, just as he has been over the past couple of years. He really goes underrated. People are really hyping up Devin Booker as the best player on this team, but I think are forgetting of how strong of a point guard, especially two-way point guard and defensive. We've talked about how much we appreciate that in a guard Eric Bledsoe has. I also have Willie Cauley-Stein and Bogdan Bogdanovic from the Sacramento Kings, who I both are going to think come into the limelight a little bit more this season and really step up.
When I was looking at all the teams and going through that, I kind of isolated 6 great coaches in the league, and Kerr is one of them.
Yeah, definitely.
So
it's interesting. I think he's definitely you're definitely a favorite to win Coach of the Year.
I mean, to sustain what he's sustaining is just amazing.
If your team has the ability to win 70 games, you're automatically going to be a top 3-4 front runner for Coach of the Year.
I like Danilo Gallinari. I think he's a good addition to what looks like almost like a fantasy team over with the Clippers. That looks like a very interesting team to watch for sure.
He said that they're the best front court in the league, which is interesting.
It's possible. It's possible. They'll at least compete in a lot of games.
Yes.
I think it's going to be.
I'd like to see Beverly and Rivers start together.
I don't want to see Rivers start. I think Rivers is going to start just because he's going to get fouled.
I think you got it wrong on that. I don't think it's got anything to do with father and son.
I think it has to do with how he performed last year, and he was given the role
He
last
performed
year.
pretty well at the end, and it was a long time before Doc Rivers gave him a significant playing time.
Well, yeah, he earned his
Didn't even want him on a team. Wasn't even going to sign him to a contract forever. Was looking at his game for what it is.
It helps. I'm saying it helps.
Okay.
I think it helps.
In this case, I'm not sure that it does.
I think it helps. If you don't got anything else to say, we can spin it. Go to the next one.
Let's do it. Ooh, wobbly. Let's not wobble off.
Uncle Mike. Quick thing to talk about, maybe? Landed on your name. Could be whatever you want.
Let's talk about Brad Ball a little bit. I'm enjoying this.
Brad Ball.
It's really, really cool. What you're seeing is that you're seeing there's an evolution, and one of the Bob Cousy was talking about it. 89 years old, and he's reflecting on it. How one of the greatest changes in the game is Brad Ball started at Butler, so Gordon Hayward said they already had it there, that positionless thing, and his thing is to have every player on the court have the ability to take it off the defensive board and go.
Yeah.
Now that's a whole new way of approaching fast break basketball, and it creates really strange matchup situations down the other end as everybody's flying like that. And the Celtics have got it going. Their top 7 guys can all take it off the backboard and go. I find that very intriguing for a guy that's watched the game a long time like me, that is watching Lonzo Ball and reflecting on Ernie Gregorio and other great ball, and Steve Nash, where the ball always goes to the point guard. And Horford was reflecting last year how even Isaiah Thomas, when he got a rebound, Isaiah would be there. It's time for me to have the ball. Ball here, ball here. Now it's a completely different thing. When Horford gets the ball, Kyrie's gone, and they're all flying. That's pretty interesting to see that happen, and I'm enjoying that.
Involves a lot of trust in each other, and it also requires a lot of ability, top to bottom, as far as ball handling and vision.
Yeah.
But Hayward makes a great point forward. We saw him do that in Utah last year in the playoffs. He was bringing the ball up almost every time.
You got Jaylen Brown and Tatum and the five of them, and then you bring Rozier and Smart in off the bench, and so the top 7 guys are all doing that. That's why I'm really unique in a lot of ways. If you go back to Brad doing it at Butler, that's what Hayward said, that it started there, and that Golden State kind of got it on their own. I guess they're definitely doing the same thing. The other thing I find intriguing is that I thought somebody was going to get Golden State eventually by doing something different. I didn't think it was possible to catch Golden State by doing the same thing they're doing. Mm-hmm. So when you're trying to outscore them, and it looks like Brad Stevens is going to be looking to go at Golden State with this run and this push and this score. Al Horford gives it a little bit of a caveat, and he said, and I like everything about Al Horford right now, and I was not an Al Horford guy last year. He said that has to start on the defensive end, and if you're not committed to the defensive end, this is all garbage. And I like that mindset. He's becoming the leader of the team.
I think it's good. I like that he's filling out that role, because that's something I was nervous about. Right. And having that versatility with the lineups, that positional switchability with on defensive and offensive end in terms of who the creator can be, I think really poses just a huge threat to the opposing team. Just being able to game plan for that type of a team, it becomes that much more difficult. I respect Brad for the work he's putting in and what I'm seeing from the players. I think that is a dynamic aspect that not many teams in the league have captured. Obviously, the Warriors are pretty strong in that area, but even then, you don't see Clay bringing the ball up that often. Whoever the 5-man that they have, unless it's the death lineup, doesn't bring up the ball. And we're in an actual situation where all 5 of our players can do that. And there's other situations where it does happen here or there, but I think if we're really leading the change for this type of a transition style, I think that we could be a front runner in terms of a new style.
I've got that feeling that they're the closest they're getting there by the day, and that they're going to be the closest team to Golden State. Yep. I like Jeff Van Gundy's take, and his take on the Celtics was that they're better equipped right now to take on the Cavaliers than they were last year. And he makes sense by saying they've increased their size without losing any lateral speed or quickness. So when you put in Tatum and Brown and Kyrie, and you take out Isaiah and Crowder and Bradley, you've created a team that's much bigger without losing any speed or quickness. I think that's a pretty good analysis. What do you say? You hate him?
Oh, I really dislike Van Gundy.
Jeff Van Gundy is tough to like.
I don't watch. I usually turn the sound down I like the Celtics guys, so I listen to Heinz.
His color commentary, he just spouts off so quickly without thinking about things. I think it's a lot better when he's on like a scripted TV show where he can think out what he's saying before he talks. But he's too sensationalist.
At the same time, when he's being interviewed,
I would invite him on the Wheelhouse. I would. I'd be happy to have him.
Shea would trounce him.
I mean, when he's invited on shows and podcasts, like he's done shows with like Zach Lowe and stuff like that all the time.
But that was a pretty good analysis right there.
Yeah, but that's like not really saying that much. I mean, I guess
I'm saying a lot that you got that you're able to play because they stunk defensively against Cleveland last year. Yeah. They took it on the chin, so to actually look at it and say that's a big improvement for the team is their ability to defend Cleveland has changed because of an increase in size. It has. Without losing quickness.
Yeah, I think it's more so just about we weren't able to defend LeBron. Jay Crowder was the only player that we had to throw at LeBron last year.
You had Isaiah on the court.
And then we tried to throw Jalen on him, who did an okay job in the chances that he got. But now we have more players to throw at LeBron. So
Bradley at 6'2", 5'9" out there trying to defend people. You know, compared to 6'7" and 6'8" at the wings.
I don't know. I just know that Van Gundy thinks Paul George is better than Kawhi Leonard, so I don't really know how I feel about him.
That's still the top 10 boys. Okay.
By the way, Bob Cousy would call it Brad Ball.
Yeah, Brad Ball. I like Brad Ball. I like that.
I agree.
Penetration. Get some lofty spins.
Oh,
it's Southwest,
boo.
right?
Yeah, Southwest. Oh, I didn't mess up. All right, so this is a little bit more competitive from top to bottom than the Pacific Division. I'll just run through my 5. I got the Rockets in first. I got the Spurs in second. Those are my only 2 teams that are making the playoffs out of this bunch. Then at third and fourth, I have the Pelicans and Grizzlies finishing with the same record, but the Pelicans will get the tiebreaker because I think they'll take more games from the Grizzlies in the regular season. And then I have the Mavs at 5th. What do you got going on over there?
Well, 2 of the great coaches come off for me, and the sleeper team right now, from what I'm seeing, what I'm looking at, and there's some teams I think are going to overperform. And as you're going along, you kind of, I thought different 2 weeks ago, but I think the Mavs are really interesting, and I think they're playing really well. And when you look at they're going with Harrison Barnes and Noel. I thought Yogi Ferrell was really played well, and then they got Smith and they got Dirk. That team to me is very intriguing, and I consider Carlisle one of the great coaches.
Yeah, Carlisle's a top 5
and then
coach.
Pop obviously is one of the great coaches. So I like those teams. And I kind of neglect. I don't think the Rockets are going to overachieve. I think they're going to underachieve. That's what I'm thinking on the Rockets. And the same thing with Oklahoma City. I think people are putting them as the team that the Celtics have got are getting closer to, but haven't got to Houston. I think they're already there with the Houston and Oklahoma City, myself. And they may not be there with the Spurs. I said in the last couple of weeks that the Spurs would be a team that wouldn't be as good as they were. But now that I've seen them, they're still there. Yeah. They really are. Aldridge is playing much better for what that is. Their three-point shooting is outstanding.
I have a theory. So Kawhi Leonard was holed out of the entire preseason because of a quad injury. I think that they listed it as a quad injury for several reasons. One of the reasons is so Aldridge could really up his usage in the preseason, get some shots up, gain some confidence. The other reason is so that they aren't titled resting when they want to rest Kawhi Leonard. So this is going to be a pretend nagging injury that we're going to see him rest games instead of calling.
Because Silver's got the ability to find him $100,000 that will not happen once.
No,
he will not fund anybody.
So instead of a DNP rest, it will be a did not play out because of quad injury. And I don't think it's a big deal. I think Kawhi Leonard's healthy. That's what I
like Powell and Aldridge. If Aldridge is playing well, him and Powell are pretty good front court.
That's a miserable defensive front court.
That's true. I think the Rockets' defense is pretty miserable as well, but they did make a couple of additions. PJ Tucker's a good role player addition for them.
I think they're a top half of the league defense. They got Luke Richard Mbamente too.
He was a good pickup
too. Chris Paul is a horizontal growth from Pat Beverly.
In that conference, though, you still have to play better defense than what I think they'll play.
If they have a defensive lineup where they can throw those 4 guys out and then Harden on the floor, isn't that a very plus defensive team?
True. I think I still have San Antonio in the first spot, but
we'll see. I don't know. I just think that San Antonio is depending a lot on some young players, and he's one of my watchables players to watch is the DeJounte Murray. I think that he's really going to step up. As soon as he was drafted at the 29th pick, I claimed it right away. He's going to be an all-star in 2023, and I stand by that. But I don't really think he's ready for this load to be put on his shoulders a little bit to be the leader of this offense, especially in situations where I think that Kawhi will be missing games. I think they're going to be depending on bench players more now with the declining roles of Manu Ginobili in terms of who the creator is going to be. We're going to see Patty Mills have games where he's going to go 2 for 15. I'm a little nervous again.
Yeah, Rudy Gay.
Yeah, but he wasn't looking bad. But how long can he maintain the ability to create his own shot after recovering off an Achilles?
Young guards.
I mean, at the same time,
they all come out. They can all shoot.
I still have them winning 55, 56 games.
Okay.
Like they're still the San Antonio Spurs.
I'm not sure Houston's going to win 55.
How many games do you have them above Houston, though?
I have the Rockets are number
Houston
1. The
above.
Rockets have 58 games. I got them winning 58 games.
That's close.
They won 55 last year, and I think that Chris Paul is just a huge upgrade for them. And like as we touched on briefly, the defensive upgrades that they made as well. I also think that the key pieces that are subsidiary to their stars, like like Clint Capella are going to take
Capella,
upgrades.
I
think he's going to be very, very strong, and I think in like 2 years we could be talking about him on all defensive.
And he's
team.
a good defender.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. I don't know. I really like them. I think they're dynamic. Their offensive style is clearly one of the most potent in the league. If they're not the first, they're going to be the second in terms of offensive efficiency. I just really trust their ability to return similar, just like on-court performance.
Are you seeing anything with them there at all?
I'm going to watch as many Dallas Mavericks games as possible solely because of Dennis Smith Jr. He's my number one player to watch because of how dynamic he's going to be. I'm standing by Malik Monk because he's for the Rookie of the Year because that's who I picked in the beginning. But Dennis Smith is a very, very close second or third depending on how Ben Simmons ends up. But I think
isn't Simmons considered rookie?
Yeah,
still?
so he's in the running. It's the same thing. Blake Griffin, those type of take a year off because of injury. But Dennis Smith, don't be surprised if he averages 18 and 7 a game.
I think he's definitely the steal of the draft.
Oh,
that's
easily.
For sure.
He could end up being the best player in this draft.
Security there with Yogi. So Yogi may get some minutes that Smith would have gotten because Smith's small.
No, but Yogi plays a lot at the 2. I don't think.
I know he does, but he's relatively small too.
But we're beginning to see that Smith is actually a lot more commendable on defense than he was coming out of the draft. Immediately, you can say, "Oh, this guy has some tenacity. He's got some grit that wasn't really talked about," and people really kind of labeled him as maybe a malcontent. Because of maybe misreflecting the record that he had. But this guy's been a winner his entire life. This season at NC State was the only year of his basketball career that he's had a losing record, and he's got defensive intensity. I like him. I think that he's the best player in the Mavs already. I think that I like their backcourt. I like Seth Curry. He's injured right now, but I think him coming back as a secondary scorer in a backcourt, I think he's a really strong player. He's going to create a lot of space for Dennis Smith.
How many games they win last year?
They win?
Yeah.
I think they...
It was weak, right?
Mid-30s. I think it was like 30.
I think I could do better than that.
32. I think it was 32. Because remember at the end of the year, Cuban started to say like, oh, we're gonna literally blatantly was like we're gonna tank, and then they lost a lot of games and they tailed off from they were 13th in the lottery and then they dropped all the way to 8th or 9th. So they really just tailed off. I think if this team is in a situation where they're close to the middle of the pack, maybe close to 500, come close to the trade deadline, I wouldn't be surprised if this team made a push to try to land a disgruntled star. The people inside of the Mavs camp, there's been whispers of them going after DeMarcus Cousins next offseason.
Wouldn't that be like Carlisle and Rondo?
Yeah, maybe. Rondo is really more of a headstrong guy in terms of how to command the offense.
He can't be more headstrong than Cousins.
I think Rondo's a little more headstrong.
Okay.
I don't know. What you got any players to watch in this?
It's a tight battle.
Any players to watch in this?
I'm just wondering, will Anthony Davis still be on the Pelicans by the end of the year?
Celtics.
If he's not, if he's not, let's find a way.
That'd be great.
I want that team to work. I want the Pelicans to work, but I just don't think it can. These guys, these two, Boogie and Ant, that's 2 top 12 players in the league, 2 top 15 players in the league, and I really just.
They're also polar opposites in every
personality-wise.
personality-wise.
Davis is a top 5, and Cousins is probably fringe. They're just not in the same. You can't say them together.
Yes, you can. I mean, they're both stars. You could say that. I know Anthony Davis is better than DeMarcus Cousins, but I'm trying to encapsulate what they are together, and together they're 2 top 15 players. I like Drew Holiday. I'm very curious to see how that team plays with Rondo on ball and Holiday off ball, doing a lot of off ball movement. I think we're going to see lineups with the 2 of them and then Tony Allen at the 3. I think they're trying to become a defensive intense team. It just makes me nervous. They're not that deep. If an injury happens to one of those 2 big guys or to Drew Holiday, I think they're pretty screwed. I want it to work and it could mesh, but every instinct, including everyone else's instinct, is saying that it's not going to work.
Who's the easiest guy to trade? Cousins
DeMarcus
or
Cousins.
Davis? Yeah. In terms of
salary, that's the
contract.
thing. They're pretty comparable. Okay. DeMarcus Cousins has 1 year left, so they won't get as much in return. So if they want a bigger haul, they could try to trade Anthony Davis. I don't know. I think if they trade DeMarcus Cousins, and depending on what they get back, I think Anthony Davis is going to want to trade too. And I think that they're going to want to trade that. So I think if they lose one, I think they might be more likely to lose the other. So this team is going to try really, really hard to make it work. But I don't really know. I don't know if Del Demps has the wherewithal to how to withstand another year as a GM. He was really struggling to stay there. I don't know if I like Alvin Gentry. He might be the first coach to get fired.
For Davis to go
the entire thing, I kind of want to stay.
Davis goes another year without making
division.
the playoffs. He just can't take that.
It's so sad. Imagine
he needs to be in the playoffs.
He's that type of player needs to have situations. But at the same time, he is a step below. Like he's not I'm just saying in terms of superstar value because he can't carry.
Guaranteed All NBA first team.
Yeah, most years.
So, well,
He didn't
pretty
win
strong.
Like, what is it? 2 years ago, DeAndre Jordan won it over him.
What, All-NBA?
Yeah.
He was first team?
He was second team 2 years ago. DeAndre Jordan was
Well,
first
I think
team.
Davis is a first team All-NBA.
I agree.
Oh,
I think
for sure.
it's just depending on the voting. All right, we can go.
All right.
Yeah. We'll do 2 more of these, and then we'll
Let's not get a
switch into
repeat.
something. We'll see.
Oh,
we
we
already
got a
got him.
repeat.
Oh, and I have so much stuff.
Sorry.
You can say something while it spins.
Celtics.
Okay.
Okay, so Celtics starting lineup because Marcus Morris is injured now. He's not just a crime-ridden human being. He's actually injured, so he's out for a reason. Did you look at his headband? Big headband, right?
Yeah,
Huge headbands.
What the heck's going on?
I don't know. All
They're
of
going
the
to catch more sweat.
I don't know. They're big headbands. All right, but
They're ugly. Is LeBron wearing one?
No, but there's a lot of
Glad
players.
he won away
Anthony
from
Davis
it.
and DeMarcus Cousins are both wearing them. They look goofy together. But anyway, Celtics starting lineup tomorrow, first game, 7 or is it 8 p.m. 8 p.m. TNT. We're going to be starting Kyrie at the 1, Jaylen Brown at the 2, Gordon Hayward at the 3, Jason Tatum at the 4, and Al Horford at the 5. What do you guys think about the starting lineup? What do you guys think about the chances of winning this game? How excited are you for the season? Let's go Celtics.
Let's start with LeBron.
Yeah, okay.
Is he playing?
They don't know. Tyronn
That's
Lue.
kind of
He's gonna
big.
play.
I'm saying he's 84% chance he plays because there is.
He might not want to play unless he's 100% against Kyrie.
I think he
And
wants.
I think
to play.
he
really
wants
hurt
to
himself a
play.
little
He
bit
considers
last
himself
game.
one of the ambassadors of the
I
sport.
think he really wants to play. The opening
Yeah.
night,
The first
against
prime
the
Does
Celtics.
not
time
want to
opening
take
night.
on a chin
It's
from Kyrie.
home. It's home. I really think he's playing. I
He
might
hurt
raise it.
himself a little bit last game when he tried to play. He tweaked it.
I think he's fine.
If IT was healthy, I'd
worst-
give him a 20% more
I don't
better
even care
chance.
if he
but-
plays.
Worst case,
It'll
worst
make it
case,
easier for Kyrie if he
worst case,
doesn't.
he starts and he gets like Keith Bogans and he only plays like 20 minutes and 15 minutes or something like that. I don't know. I really like. We touched on it a little bit when your name came up and we talked about Brad Ball, but that's
Right.
literally what I wanted to touch about. This team, if we got a week and a half, 2 week stretch where it looks like Jason Tatum is going to be the starter. I thought that maybe he was going to be the starter because Baines wasn't healthy as well, but it looks like Baines is healthy and is going to be coming off the bench as well.
So that's one guy that I wish we did see in there just because I love it when we rebound. When the Celtics rebound, I think we play a lot better. Baines is a great rebounder, great body down low, and also a good guy for the high screen and rolls.
Yes,
and,
I agree.
But look at the incentive that team's got.
you're gonna
to
see a lot
rebound.
of Baines
Look at
out
the
there.
incentive they got to rebound. You rebound, you're gone.
Right.
That's how
Yep.
they're playing it. I mean, Rozier is going to be as good a rebounding guard as there is out there in
Yeah,
terms of
he's definitely like top 10 rebounding
and
guard.
smart and I think the rebounding is going to improve.
This team could
it's definitely
score
gonna
10
improve.
more
It's better.
points a game than last year.
Yes, I
think,
agree. Well, that's
on average.
That's something interesting to talk about. So last year we were either the 7th or the 8th most efficient, just in terms of offensive just ability. I don't know if it's efficiency or just offensive rank. I think we're going to get closer to 4.
Yeah.
You still got the Warriors, still got the Rockets, and then we still got the Cavs. But then I think we're really going to be vying with the Denver Nuggets for that 4th spot, and I think those are the top 5 most powerful offensive teams. Something I am nervous about is, however, is defensively. I think we have got more versatile, but I'm a little bit nervous just in terms of our backcourt being less dynamic. In terms of losing Avery Bradley, he helped us a lot in situations, especially when we're going up against those top-tier point guards. And we talked about our size from top to bottom improving, but the front court size in terms of rebounding and rim protection has gone down a little bit. We'll see if Theis and Yabu and these guys can really come in and help that. But last year we were on 13. In defense. And I think we're probably going to drop to somewhere around 15, 16, 17, which is still that those two together kind of get together for a net rating of like a
I just like how the
51,
team is
52 win
progressing,
team.
and I like the way. Last week I was saying that I wasn't sure how that they had to get Kyrie off the ball. Well, they got Kyrie off the ball. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And he
looks
that
great
last
off
game
ball.
he looked great. So I think he is really insane.
It looks like a real chemistry between him and Hayward too.
Yeah.
As far as
and last week I said that I
couple
thought
of give
that
and goes
everything had to
and-
flow through Hayward, but I think I'm wrong about that. I think Hayward is the one that's kind of trying to find the groove and the pace out there.
I think
and
Hayward
actually
is the least
Horford
smoothed in.
that's setting
Yeah.
That's
what I was
setting
talking
the
about.
tone.
Hayward's the least smoothed in, and he'll find his way, and I'm not worried about him at all. But something I'm very interested about is we got a number 3 pick that Danny Ainge says he would have picked first. We're starting him
Why
in the
not?
beginning of the year. if he's playing a starting role for a week and a half, is he going to give that starting role back up? I don't know if Marcus Morris is getting that starting job back.
What a beautiful offensive player.
I don't know if he's getting that job back.
And I mean, that one leg fadeaway.
Yes, but I think exactly that's his offensive, just like his ability to be effective, I think, is heightened that much more playing with starters. When he's on the second unit and he has to be the number one creator, or the number two creator in the offense, you can tell that so far, at least from what we've seen, that he gets a little bit more jitterish and he's a little more nervous and he's indecisive about when to take a shot.
I think a good point on him was that you really can't judge his performance in the preseason by his numbers.
No,
that's not it. I mean, you can see how good he is, and it's really got nothing to do with his numbers. I think he's as good a shooter as they've had probably since Pierce in terms of I know it's going to take time to evolve, but when you watch that shot, that shot is dynamite. And it's compact, it's high, it's a beautiful release, it's quick. That guy is a shooter, and they need that.
He looks really good, and I like his ability to score off ball, not even in the isolation. I think we've all just been so mesmerized by how he played in the preseason, or more so the summer league, but the preseason as well, in terms of his ability to score in isolation. But I think in the starting lineup for the Celtics in the regular season in these first couple of weeks, we're going to see him really hitting corner threes, attacking closeouts hard, and really getting second chance point scoring opportunities. And that's where I think he's going to thrive. And then I think that the isolation is stuff that's going to come when he plays with the second unit. I think I wouldn't be surprised if when the first subs come through and we put in Terry or Marcus Smart and we take out our guards. I think Tatum and Hayward are going to stay in because they're going to be trying to really spread out the units and keep either Hayward or Kyrie on the floor at the same time. And I think that Tatum shows his ability to really stay in that unit, and maybe he drops down to a two guard and with the second unit or something like that.
The last game, we did see an awful lot of Rozier, Smart, and Kyrie.
Yep, I like that.
And I like that.
We'll see how dynamic it was. It looked okay on the floor. They had a lot. It was defensively, they were really there some plays, and then other plays, when the offense was a little bit more patient, they kind of could take advantage of it a little bit more. I like it. It depends on who we play. And that's another thing that I find really interesting is I think Brad is going to mix up the starting lineup frequently.
A lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, he's got the big three, and then the others
right.
can
so,
roll
and I think
around
when we're playing against Cleveland, the lineup that we were talking about already makes perfect sense because this team has already stated that they're going to be starting. Their front court is LeBron, Jay Crowder, and Kevin Love, and our declare what we're starting for a starting lineup makes sense in terms of being able to combat that. But if we go into a situation where we're playing the Pelicans and we're playing against Anthony Davis and Boogie, then I think we're going to be starting Baines. I don't think we're going to start Tatum at the 4 and be depending on him to guard Anthony Davis. So it's all situational, and Brad's clearly very adept to be able to handle that. I'm excited overall. I don't know.
This could be Brad's Coach of the Year.
It could be.
It could well be. I do have to say that I think it's a shame that and he is a chump, is Morris, and that Morris would be the one that comes back and sends Tatum to the bench. I mean, that guy is actually coming out saying, did you hear what he said about technical fouls? He said that he was disappointed last year he didn't get as many, and the year before he got a lot, and it all depends on how hard he gets fouled, and he's going to have a lot of technical fouls, and that's one of the things he brings to the table, as well as being a bully, and that the bully he's going to be the team hard guy. I don't buy it. So he comes in overweight. Yeah. He comes in. He's got a sore knee.
Well, he didn't even come in. I mean, he wasn't even at training camp. Yeah. So I mean, dealing with like he said, issues.
It's misguided, but I think
he sends Tatum to the bench.
He's just trying to preach intensity.
He looked pretty good. I'll give you that. It looks like he got a shot.
Over under. Tatum starts 55 games.
Wow.
Over under.
I'll say under.
I'm going to say under too.
Yeah. I'm going under on that.
But I think it would be close. I think we're going to be surprised. I think he's going to start.
But I sure hope he earns it. If he earned 55, that means things are working out real well.
It'll be interesting to see who's finishing games, and it'll be interesting to see who Brad's got on the floor finishing games, and that'll be very telltale.
What I just love about our top three is that they make people better. Yes. Like you said, they're natural leaders. Yes. The backdoor cuts, the little things that win games, the little things that win those close battles.
Brad ball.
I think we have.
What's
that Brad ball?
What's Kyrie's line tomorrow?
22-7, and maybe a steal.
Just one steal. I think he's scoring more than 22.
I'll say 28 and 6.
No, he's having a big game. He's getting 35 and 8 assists.
Ooh,
wow.
Okay. That'll be fun.
Which was kind of strange, and it was who's the most likely guy in the league that'll score 50 points this year?
50 points.
And you know who I jumped on?
There's a
50 points when I get scored 7 times.
Malik Monk could score 50.
He might score 50. He might score 50. He's looking pretty good for the rookie of the year if he scores 50.
You know the other one you were right on, and I got to keep giving him more and more, is Joel Embiid is just, he's incredible. I mean, he comes in and every player on the Nets tried to play him. They were picking up 4 fouls in 5 minutes, and he's taunting them. You guys can't play me. You can't play me.
You guard him.
No chance.
He couldn't guard him.
He scores 22 points in 14 minutes.
In 2 minutes, he drew 3 fouls on Hassan Whiteside.
Yeah,
commonly respected
minutes.
as one of the best defenders in the league.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, he could be the Shaq. If he's healthy enough, he could be like a Shaq level
better than Shaq,
force.
I don't know. Like
He could be an MVP.
Minutes,
I'm just gonna say that if he plays 70+ games, he's got to be
God,
in the top 3.
But he never will.
Top 3.
Please play 70.
He's got to be top 3 for MVP.
I don't think he'll play 55
How
games.
can you play small ball against that guy?
You can't.
You can't play small ball
many?
against him. The Nets tried to. They got 2 6'7s and 6'8. Hollis Jefferson and Quincy Acey and another guy, Booker. And they tried to play him. They had no shot at 6'8", 6'7", 6'7", and we was taunting him. He said, "You guys can't play me. You have no chance."
He's easily my top
course he
3
did all that
favorite
in
player in the
14
league.
minutes.
He's incredible. I don't know.
Well, 14. That means they got to play 34 minutes without him.
We'll do one more preview. Maybe it'll be the Atlantic, and we can talk more about Joel Embiid.
Now that we got it kicked off with Joel.
Oh, looks like it might be.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, Atlantic Division. All right, so we already talked about the Celtics plenty. So I got them on top of the division. Celtics are, I think.
That might be the easiest call in the NBA.
The Celtics, this is another one that top to bottom, there's a huge range in outcomes for what the total win totals will be. Number 2, I have the Raptors. I think they're going to underperform due to, in comparison to expectations. I still have them 5 seed in the playoffs, but I think the Bucks are going to be better than them. 3 seed or the 3 in the division, I have the 76ers. I think they're going to be a little bit below 500, but I think that they're going to sneak into the playoffs. I think they're going to be an exciting team, and depending on who they roll the dice with in the first round, they could make some waves. I don't think they're going to win a first round matchup. Then 4 and 5, I have the Nets finishing with a better record, and then the Knicks, and the Knicks are my worst team in the division. Who you got?
Well, one thing I really like is when I look at the 76ers and their ability to put Redick, Saric, Simmons, Fultz, and Embiid on the floor. Wow, that is really cool.
They have some fun lineups.
Yeah, so if they're ever healthy, then you watch that develop, and they become a team that is very intriguing to watch. The Celtics are ahead of everybody, obviously, and the Raptors just on old time's sake, but I don't enjoy watching them. And
Raptors are one of the most boring teams in the league.
They are, but they've got
Raptors
players,
have the similar core, but then they lost a couple of role players. I
lost-
don't think the Raptors got better.
No, they definitely got worse.
And the Celtics, meanwhile, got a lot better.
The Raptors got worse. They went from depending on players like Corey Joseph and DeMar Carroll and players that aren't regarded that highly, but that the Toronto loves for just their MO and how they approach games, to now they're depending on players like OG Anunoby and Jakob Poeltl and who's the other guy, Norman Powell. And I don't think these young guys aren't going to step up.
You're seeing the disparity. There's some bad teams. When you look at how good the good teams are.
Toronto's probably the most uninspiring top end of the Eastern Conference. I mean, they're not going to be.
Please, Embiid, Joel Embiid.
They're not scheduled
How many
viewing.
minutes a game is he going to play in those 70s? He's going to play 22?
No, I think he's going to come out and he's
14 minutes he played in the last game.
Yeah, it's a preseason game. I would rather have him play like 3 minutes. Okay, so I think regular season comes around, first month and a half, he's playing 27 minutes a game. Second 2 months, he'll play 30 a couple times, and then when we come to January,
I hope you're right.
And then we come to January, he'll go back down, he'll rest some games, he'll play more 27, and then once it gets to the point where they need to push for the playoffs, I think he's playing 30 plus, and he's going to be resting every other, depending on what the game is. I'm really excited for Joel Embiid. Ben Simmons is one of my players.
And we play him early. That'll be fun.
We do.
So
we play him twice early. I'm very excited. I'm going to the game in November, actually.
Nice.
It's going to be a great game. I really like Ben Simmons, and I think his ability to really navigate that offense is really going to shine through right away. I think he has a strong chance. He's already a top 15 passer in this league. His vision is really unparalleled, and his ability to see things at 6'10" that other players can't. I mean, we've talked about having Giannis at a point guard and other things, but Giannis got shifted back as soon as Brogdon arose, and I think that we're really going to see this next breed of an actual 6'10" point guard come out, and he's branded as a 6'10" point guard. I think he is a 6'10" point guard. He's bringing up the ball. He's guarding point guards. Brett Brown was putting him on the court and having him guard end to end. He was having him guard Kyrie and was having him guard Kemba Walker.
Yeah, but
and
doing it well.
Yes,
two different things.
but he wants him
to
get reps. And this is his first year, and there's gonna be hiccups along the way. But I really like their ability to make a difference, and I think Embiid really is really what's going to move the needle for them. And I think that they have the ability to make waves. And if they get to the point where they play the Raptors in the playoffs, I might pick the 76ers over the Raptors if everyone's healthy.
I think
if Embiid plays
fourth best player in the Starters.
Simmons is the fourth best player.
I like Saric better than him.
That's no way. Dario Saric is better.
I love Saric. I love Saric. Just in terms of who I would want as a player. I mean, Simmons has trouble shooting.
That's crazy.
I know I'm off the wall on this, but I haven't seen it yet with Simmons. I also like Redick. I think Redick for that team is going to be dynamite.
Yeah, but do you know?
I think he's more important to the team.
Do you know who's responsible for like 97% of JJ Redick's offense? Ben Simmons.
They haven't even been playing together. Redick hasn't been playing. The game I watched, Redick didn't even play. And
okay, well, watch one of the games where JJ Redick does play because he shoots very efficiently, and a lot of his space is created off Ben Simmons' drives and Ben Simmons' passing angles.
Everybody's saying he is, so I gotta be wrong. I'll probably be wrong, but my eyes are not seeing it with.
He has holes. He has holes to his game. He does not have a developed, polished jump shot yet. A lot of people are talking like he should be a righty. He shoots lefty, but it looks like he has the form of a righty.
He's a great passer that should not be playing
Simmons, but that was a Jeff Van Gundy statement.
Yeah, that was very Jeff Van Gundy.
That was a Jeff Van Gundy statement right there.
No one
come on.
No one in the league is taking.
I think if Embiid plays 60 games, I know you said if he plays 70 games, he's the MVP probably.
Well, I think
consideration.
If Embiid plays 70 games,
but if Embiid plays 60. I think they're a plus 500 team.
Yes, I agree. So I'm putting my over/under for Embiid games played at like 57, and I think
you can't have the process without him.
I think he's going to get close. And I'm thinking if he plays 55 games, that's 30-plus wins right there.
Well, just the fact that he's starting opening night is a big plus.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. I think that
at least he's going to have a couple games going.
They're definitely. I mean, obviously,
but as soon as you see him come
that'll be a fun team to watch. I mean, more fun to watch, I think, than the Lakers.
Yeah, one sentence on the Nets and then one sentence on the Knicks.
Oh, jeez.
You can go first.
I'll do the Knicks if you want.
Go, one sentence.
I think they're an accident waiting to happen. I think
they've been an accident.
Well,
I think it's train wreck.
A lot of people are saying that they're going to take a step forward, and you got guys like Frankie Cigarettes, that's what Matt called him, who hasn't played in summer league. Played 5 minutes in the preseason, and you got Hornacek saying, yeah, the guy never wants to practice, but he wants to play every game. I'm not seeing him yet. Yeah. I think the problem they got is Porzingis, and I don't think Porzingis is ready to carry that banner, and that without and I don't like Carmelo, you know that, but when Carmelo's not there and all that defense focuses on Porzingis, and he has to be the one that takes that team forward, I think they fall short of that. I don't think they're going to win 25 games.
I think this team is going to be one of the teams that gets one of the top 5 players in the draft next year and looks a lot better 2 years from now. This team's going to look good. This team doesn't have any depth yet. This team has a really bad backcourt rotation. Like maybe the worst in the league backcourt rotation.
Oh, Jared,
on the Nets.
On the Nets, I'll just say, can D'Angelo Russell be the man for a struggling team? Probably not.
Probably not. I agree. Probably not. He's going to be exciting.
I like Jeremy.
It's a good pickup. Alan Crabb, also good swing man for them. But
all right. So we got a new segment. I'm not sure what I'm calling it. It all depends on what I got. So it's basically I picked like 15 to 20 games in the upcoming week. The show's once a week. So when we come back next week, depending on who gets the most selections correct, is going to get some type of something.
Wow.
Whether it's
I like this book.
Yeah, well, that's another segment. That's another segment. So whether it's a medal or a trophy or something, and then it's passed along each week. So I'm just going to run down I want you to talk about what you talked about first, and we'll talk about that briefly, and then we'll actually do the picking of the games.
Okay.
Because
when Shay sends me the stuff every week, it's like I have to interpret what he says. Yes. And as you know, I don't have a phone, so my wife's taking stuff, and I'm getting a message back.
I text Denise, and Denise relays the message.
Pick winners and losers.
Yes.
So as far as teams in their schedule in the first week, the team in terms of loser, I got as the 76ers. They play at Washington, at Toronto, and at Boston. Yes. That's a tough start for the 76ers.
What did they do to deserve that?
I love it. I want them to be thrown to the wolves. I love
the winner. I like the Mavs. against the Hawks. And then my pick for the week, and I'm way out on a limb on this one. I know it. Crucify me next week. I'm picking the Mavs over the Rockets. And that's my pick. Now, I've also got one other thing. I think that the Hawks are a real winner here. They play the Mavs, the Hornets, and the Nets. Well,
they're going to lose all 3 of those games.
They're not going to lose
all 3 of those games.
Hawks. He's one of the great coaches in the league. Budenholzer is one of the great coaches in the league.
Yes, and he's the only thing stopping them from losing 15 games.
They play above. They play better than they are.
Yes, but they also have, in terms of names, they have the worst roster.
They can beat the Hornets. They can beat the Nets, and they can beat the Mavs.
I don't think they're beating. I think they lose all 3 of those
games. They may lose all 3, but I think at least they've got a shot at 3 games, and you're not going to be able to say that a lot for the Hawks this year.
I like that there's a Lakers-Clippers matchup in the first week.
Okay, we'll talk about it. Okay, so we're just going to get to the picks.
That's exciting.
I already selected my choices. So the games tomorrow, I got both of them on here. Boston, Cleveland, I got Boston. Who you got?
Boston.
You got Boston?
Boston.
Okay, I agree. That's good choices.
Please.
Good choices.
I'm picking them a lot of times.
All right, Houston Warriors. This is the 10 o'clock game tomorrow night, TNT. Who you got?
Warriors.
Who you got?
The Warriors.
We don't even have to do this by spread?
Just real simple.
I like it.
Real simple. I picked Houston. I think it's going to be upset.
Houston, Rockets upset.
The first game of the season last year, Golden State came out real sluggish. They look real slow.
They're so
Are they, though? Did they look?
Who's not healthy?
No, everyone's healthy, but do they look ready? Did they look ready?
Who's guarding Kevin Durant?
They're the best team in the league. Not going to say anything else besides that. But last year, opening to start the season, the Spurs trashed them. They trashed them. I'm just going to say that. Okay. On Wednesday, I got Philadelphia against Washington. Who you got?
I got Washington.
Who you got?
I got Washington. I think Philadelphia's going to have trouble this week.
I picked Philadelphia because I think Joel Embiid is the best player in that game.
Wow, okay, going for some upsets.
All 14 minits of them.
Yes, I think he's playing 30 minutes that game. Okay, also Wednesday, we got the Pelicans at the Grizzlies. Who you got?
Oh, is that ugly?
It's going to be a grinding game.
Okay.
Pelicans for Sloan. Who you got?
There's some teams that I just can't pick, and Boogie Cousins is one guy I cannot pick.
So I pick the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have talked about upping their pace. They were one of the slowest teams.
The Grizzlies are horrible.
Mike's got them 0-82 this year.
They're getting older by the day.
Well, the Grizzlies are pretty interesting because for a very long time, they've been a bottom 5 team in pace for a very long time, and now they're really they're
I'm surprised how long Conley's been there. He's been there a long time.
He's very long tenured. One of the commonly he's somehow very frequently the most underrated player, but at the same time, I think he's kind of overrated because of how
he's never made an All-Star team.
I don't think he deserves
a lot of money.
Both those guys may have had their heyday. They might have already peaked.
That's a big
next game of that night,
but I'm still taking them over Boogie.
Denver at the Utah Jazz. Denver Nuggets.
Oh, what a nice game! One of the best games of the week.
I think it's a great game. Defense versus offense in that game.
I think I'd have to go with the Nuggets for that one.
Okay, Nuggets for Sloan. Who you got?
That's a tough one too. I'm going to go with the Jazz. Okay. I liked how together they are right now.
I like how
who scores the most points on the Jazz in that game?
Well, I'm going with Hood.
Hood? Okay, I like it. Okay, and then last game of Wednesday night is Minnesota versus the Spurs. At Spurs. At San Antonio.
I got to go with the Spurs at home.
Spurs at home.
I think another team that's going to achieve well below what's expected is the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I think I'm taking back what I said earlier about the Spurs slide. I don't think they are going to slide. I think the Spurs are going to be a strong team.
So you got the Spurs.
And the second best team in the West.
Okay, I got the Spurs as well for that game. I don't have them as the second best team in the West. I have Minnesota making it in the playoffs, but whatever. Thursday, I just picked one game. It's the game you said. Clippers at the Lakers, even though it's technically a home game for both teams.
Yes, sir. I will go Clippers with that one.
You got?
They're going to score a lot of points in that game.
There's going to be a
lot of points. They might score 250 in that game.
There's going to be a lot of points scored in that game.
The Lakers aren't ready to win games.
Might be a 130, 120 game.
So here's something I'm thinking. At this game, it's Thursday. I think the Clippers already play a game. I think the Lakers, for some reason, the Clippers are just going to get into foul trouble. It's going to be sloppy. I think the Lakers.
So let's do the Mavs and the Rockets because I got the big pick for the week there.
Well, you already picked it.
I know, but it didn't make it.
You already picked it.
You want games that we're
What night is that on?
That's on Saturday.
Saturday. I didn't put it in there. We can throw it in there. Fine.
Mavs and the Rockets.
It's Friday. We're going day by day. We're going day by day. We're day by day. We're on day by day. Cleveland versus Milwaukee at Milwaukee. Friday. Who you got?
Cleveland.
Who you got? Milwaukee versus Cleveland.
I got the Bucks.
Okay, at home. You love the Bucks. I know you.
And I think rightly so.
Okay, I agree. Giannis is he's okay. Something I want to address real quick is I have the Bucks as my third seed coming into this year, and I really think that they're getting underrespected because purely no one thinks that Giannis can elevate his game higher. Everyone's like, oh, he made a huge jump last year. Yeah. And I'm like,
listen to the
can
guy.
he make the jump again this year? I was like, no, he doesn't need to make
Kobe,
the same jump.
Kobe challenged him to be the MVP, right?
So
I think he could jump.
He doesn't need to make the same jump. If he makes a jump an eighth of the size, he's going to be a top 5 player in the league. And why can he not do that? He's only 22 years old. Obviously, he's going to get better. Like, what do people think is going to happen?
I think they need Jabari Parker, and that's going to be a while before they get him, before they really get to where
I think their team is stronger with Middleton without Parker than Parker without Middleton. So I think they'll be okay until Parker
you always
comes
got Delly, and I know you don't like him, but I like Greg Monroe too. And Greg Monroe has really solidified himself. He may be one of the best 6 men in the league.
He was like third in voting last year.
I think him and Marcus Smart are my 2 guys. I think.
Okay, bottom of the barrel game. We got Orlando at Brooklyn.
Wow, that is bottom of the
barrel.
Orlando for Sloan. Who you got? Mike.
I'm going to go with Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn's going to win some games this year.
I also got the Brooklyn Nets winning that game.
We have some variations
yes,
here.
I like it.
Good.
Utah at Minnesota.
For that one, I'll go Utah.
Utah for Sloan.
Even though I just said bad things about Minnesota, I got to take Minnesota right now.
I also picked
I think
Minnesota.
they're going to win some games. They're going to win a lot of games this year, just not as many people think.
We got Sacramento at Dallas on Friday.
Wow.
I picked Dallas.
Yeah, the Mavs are my team. I like not my team, but I'm kind of with them.
So you're taking Dallas?
I think
I got to go Dallas as well.
Dallas across the board. That might be the first one we agreed upon
wow.
besides the Celtics. Oh,
I agree. I talked you guys into the Mavs.
The Spurs. I was on the Mavs.
Oh, you like Dennis Smith?
Yeah, I'm very into Dennis Smith. He's one of my favorite players in the league already. Lakers at Phoenix Suns. I think Josh Jackson goes off.
Suns, yeah, I'll go Suns.
I think the Lakers going to win.
Okay.
I think they'll feel better on the road in terms of all the spotlight, and you get them out there. Hopefully Lonzo is ready to play.
Yeah, I agree. I picked Phoenix purely because I picked the Lakers earlier, so whatever. Saturday, Philadelphia at Toronto.
Toronto.
I think 76ers is going to have a tough week. I think they're 0-3.
I think they're winning 2 games.
Wow. So you're picking them to beat the Raptors and
the Wizards.
I think Embiid might be up to 17 minutes by Saturday.
He's playing. He's going to play a lot. They wanted to play.
We'll see.
He
might even be out of the lineup by Saturday. I've already played.
So something
that'll be his 3rd game of the week. They might not even play him on Saturday because they won't play him 3 games in the same week. He's resting.
Yeah,
he's not
I
playing.
Think he's resting.
And Silver's
they don't want to get fined that early. They don't want to get fined that
Silver's
early.
going to have to step in. I say, why isn't Embiid playing?
In the language that was in his contract, he has the Sixers have a way out if he suffers an ankle or a back or a foot or a back injury. And the injury.
Anything else?
No. And the thing is,
ankle, foot, back.
Got to cover a lot of bases with his body.
No, and his most recent injury was his knee injury. So that tells me that they're not nervous about his knee injury at all, which means that he's healthy, he's ready, he's healthy, he's ready to play. The only reason
you think he plays all 3 games this week?
Yes.
No.
Undoubtedly.
No.
Yes. Bet you $1.
I bet you $1. I got $1.
Yeah, I'm going to win it back. I'm going to win it back.
And London is nowhere to be seen.
London's bad.
London's going to be already in the G League because I watched San Antonio and I tried to find him. I thought I saw him. There was somebody else on the bench. He's not in the top 15.
All right, we got 2 or 3 more games. We got Detroit at the New York Knicks.
Detroit,
I think the Knicks are really in for a losing streak.
Okay, we all agree on that one. What was your game that you wanted to say?
I want the Mavs over the Rockets at Houston.
Mavs, Rockets.
Oh, Houston. Yeah, put it on. Yeah, put it on. I'll take Houston.
Yeah, I'll also take Houston.
I know you would.
Well, I mean, they're like the 2nd best team in the conference. I don't know what you want from me. And then last game on Sunday night, OKC at Minnesota.
Boy, that's
a good game. That's fun.
Yep.
OKC.
Yeah, Minnesota's.
By the way, who called that Carmelo was going to OKC? I think it was
Bill Simmons.
I think it was episode 12.
I don't think Carmelo's got there.
I called it before Bill said
it.
I called it before him.
He's trailing.
That's BS.
4 minutes. He's still trailing the fast
BS,
break.
I agree.
They haven't seen him come onto the court yet. He is the slowest moving defensive player in the league. That guy comes
Great
in enough
addition.
space
Talking about
than anybody
Carmelo?
in the league.
Talking about Carmelo?
Great addition.
He looked good defensively. All right,
We'll
see who wins. All right, so
has he ever bent his knees? Has he got serious problems with his knees? I've never seen him bend his knees.
He bends his knees. Okay, so another new segment, 2 new segments. We're doing books. So I just got a couple books most recently, so I'm going to bring a book on the show. And I got like 230 pages. I just want you to pick a page, and we're going to talk about whatever's on the page.
172.
172. Let's see what's going on. That's a good page number, Mike.
I think so.
Okay, 172. Okay, so 172 is part of the chapter, What Attributes Make for the Best Basketball Villain. So they have, is he smart? Does he revel in his idea of his own villainy? Is he willing to taunt people? Is he a contributing player? Is he a contributing player to a good team? Yeah, give me some stuff. Give me some stuff.
I got my own take on other than what they're saying there, because I was thinking about it on my way up, and I was thinking how is it Marcus Morris?
Marcus Morris, yeah.
He cannot be a villain.
No, he's not a villain.
Because you can only be a villain if the home team loves you.
Yeah.
So Jim Luskatov, if you're going to be a chump, you cannot be a villain if you're a chump. Your home team has to love you.
Okay.
The fans are not going to love Marcus Morris, so he can't be it. So that to me is the number one thing. And when you're a hitman like that, the home team does love you.
So
he's not a game changer enough for the away teams to hate him.
Right.
You know, he's not going to drop booze.
Marcus Morris?
Yeah.
When he leads the league in technical fouls and he starts trying to play.
But still nobody
I really
cares about
think
him.
he's going to be swept under the rug. I don't think I'm worried about Marcus Morris. I'm not worried about them.
Dennis
I'm
Rodman,
just saying as an example of what you gotta be. You can't be like that. That's a number one attribute of a hitman.
Right. So I think that
you got to be loved by your team.
You need to be loved by your team. And you need to be absolutely loathed by every other team, by every other fan, by literally everyone else in the league, except for your home fans need to hate you, and your home fans need to love you. So I think the first player I thought of was Danny Ainge. I think that he's a perfect thing. But he lists players here.
Yeah, he is very interesting.
He lists players here. His number one is Bill Laimbeer. Then he has Reggie Miller. He has Kevin McHale on here. He has Vernon Maxwell. He has Rodman, like you said.
Remember the Danny Ainge, Tree Rollins
Rodman's
fight?
top 3.
Yes.
So Danny Ainge fights with Tree Rollins, and Tree Rollins bites him or something, and the story becomes, for the end of time, that Danny Ainge did the fight.
Right, yeah.
Because
they talked about that on Bob Ryan's podcast recently. He was like, what is going on?
It was the other way around. Yet history will have it recorded because Ainge was like he was. You know,
Barkley was quite the villain for many years.
Yeah, he really amplified that himself by saying, "I'm not."
Did you know Jungle Jim?
I know that he has his name retired, not his number retired.
Right, so he's only 6'5",
right?
And he was the Celtics hitman for Bill Russell.
I mean,
so that they had 2 of them. Gene Conley was one, but Luskatov was the guy. So Luskatov was at 6'5". He would come in there and push Wilt around. He's a classic one.
So it's pretty funny. He wrote a little tidbit. Shea Serrano wrote this book, same name. I like the guy. On Bill Laimbeer, he said, my favorite thing about him is he was punched by so many people. He was punched by Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan, Robert Parrish, Alonzo Mourning, Bob Lanier, Larry Bird, and even Isaiah Thomas.
Wow. Don't forget Jeff Rulin, too.
That's some Hall of Fame punches.
He got punched by everyone. So we'll do one page.
Quick in the WNBA.
On you, quick one page.
101.
101, and then we'll sign
That was
off.
fun. This book is fun.
Well, I got other books, too. Let's see what's going on 101. We got a picture of Dirk on 101.
We got hats and we got
What's
books.
the most important NBA championship? 2008 Celtics. We beat the Lakers. That's my pick.
The most important?
Yeah.
Most important?
That was just the first thing I thought of.
Why would that be most important?
I don't know.
I'm going to go with the Portland Trailblazers.
With Bill Walton?
Yeah. And to me, that's the most, whether it's important or impressive, that's one of the top 5 coaching jobs in the history of basketball. Dr. Jack Ramsey coaching that team. That's a great book if you want to read that one.
Most
Jack
important,
Ramsey, that year.
Maybe I'll
and
bring
what
it
he did and how he put that team together. You call him Hitman, what do they call him on page 172? What do they call those guys?
Villains.
Villains, okay. Villains was Maurice Lucas.
Maurice Lucas.
Really good one.
I guess I'd have to say 96, 97 Bulls because that just had so many people involved in the sport. That was just a hugely popular year.
All right, well, that'll wrap it up for us. First week's going to get started. We'll see how we're fair, who's going to get the crown or the award, trophy, whatever we have.
If we do bad, we just won't talk about it?
No, we're talking about it no matter what. Someone's going to win. Someone's going to win. I mean, we can't all lose.
But I got the Mavs beating the Rockets at Houston.
That's exciting. That's an exciting choice. We like underdogs. I like the pick. Thanks for joining us on My Wheelhouse. Till next week. Go NBA. I'm excited.
Wheels turning and can't slow down.